The Hollywood dream can turn into a nightmare overnight. That's exactly what's happening to Rachel Zegler, once a rising star, now seemingly cast aside by the very machine that built her up. Behind the dazzling red carpets and glowing headlines, something has broken. Industry whispers have turned into undeniable truths. Zegler's once promising career is teetering on the edge of collapse, and the people who were supposed to guide her have begun stepping away. The moment I landed in Los Angeles recently, there was a noticeable chill in the air surrounding Rachel's name. Her trajectory, once considered unstoppable, now feels like a slow-motion crash that no one is trying to stop. Key insiders are no longer shy about speaking up. Some describe her as unmanageable, while others admit they're deliberately steering clear of her. She's not just being overlooked for opportunities, she's being actively avoided. The transformation has been jarring. It's not one scandal that derailed her career, it's the growing belief that Rachel herself has become the problem. PR professionals and agents who once supported her are now reportedly refusing to pitch her for appearances or campaigns. Her perceived disconnect from her characters and her public comments have made her seem insincere, even arrogant. As one observer put it, she comes off as a whiny brat, and that perception is proving impossible to shake. The real danger isn't just bad press, it's being branded a liability in an industry obsessed with image. Rachel seems unaware of how dire things have become. According to someone close to her management, she still believes she can weather this rough patch. But the phone isn't ringing. Her team is exhausted, her reputation crumbling, and the Hollywood machine is no longer protecting her. While contracts remain and her name still holds recognition, those familiar with how Hollywood operates know that infrastructure is everything. And for Rachel, that infrastructure is disintegrating. The Snow White controversy only accelerated her fall. Disney's re-release of the original animated film bombed at the box office spectacularly. Even though Rachel wasn't in that film, her previous comments about the remake painted her as the face of its failure. Her outspoken takes on the original story and characters rubbed audiences the wrong way. Her critics blamed her for the fallout, and fans boycotted en masse. The backlash was so intense it even tainted the legacy film. What's more alarming is Disney's reaction, or lack thereof. They didn't defend her. They didn't try to shift the narrative, they stayed silent. For a company known to aggressively protect its talent, that silence speaks volumes. It feels intentional, like they're waiting out the storm to quietly distance themselves. There are rumors Disney is already scouting new faces for future princess roles. Even if they don't recast her publicly, insiders believe her role could be reduced or erased through reshoots. Internally, her team is fractured. Some want to rebrand her. Others are just biding time until their contracts expire. There's no unified plan. Her interviews contradict her social media presence. Her public persona clashes with how she's perceived behind the scenes. And every time she tries to pivot, old videos resurface, going viral for the wrong reasons. Her confidence now reads as combative. Her freshness seems arrogant. PR professionals admit they don't know how to position her anymore. Rachel has gone from someone you collaborate with to someone you work around. Award show invites have dried up. Magazine covers have vanished. Even influencers and former fan pages are pulling away, and the few posts she still makes. Polished, filtered, clearly strategic. Gone is the unfiltered spark that made her stand out. What's left feels more like damage control than genuine connection. And maybe that's the point. Her silence, instead of healing wounds, only fuels more speculation. Is she retreating, recalibrating, or simply done? No one is standing up for her anymore, not her co-stars, not her directors, not even her former industry allies. The support system that once elevated her now pretends she doesn't exist. The same machine that once hyped her up is now erasing her, one opportunity at a time. There was a time when Rachel Zegler's name sparked excitement, a newcomer with raw talent and star power, but in Hollywood, reputation is everything. And when that crumbles, the fall is fast and unforgiving. The most chilling part, this isn't a scandal caused by some explosive revelation. It's a slow decay fueled by missteps, tone-deaf interviews, and an apparent inability to read the room. There may still be a path back, but it would require something Rachel hasn't shown: real humility, not a curated post, not a carefully worded statement, but an authentic reckoning with how her image is perceived and how she communicates. Because right now, she's not just losing jobs, she's losing relevance, and in this industry where the spotlight moves faster than ever, once you've been left behind, catching up is nearly impossible. This isn't just about one movie or one controversy. It's about how Hollywood remembers and forgets. One day you're the face of the next big thing. The next, you're a cautionary tale shared in viral clips and whispered conversations. Rachel Zegler's story isn't over, but if something doesn't change soon, it may be written without her. It's easy to think that fame is permanent, that once you've made it, the industry will continue to celebrate you no matter what. But the truth is far more brutal. In Hollywood, you're only as valuable as your last headline, your last box office hit, or your last moment that went viral for the right reasons. When that spotlight shifts, when the applause quiets, when the phones stop ringing, what's left is often deafening silence. That's where Rachel Zegler finds herself now, not because of a single mistake, but because of a pattern that became impossible to ignore. What's particularly devastating is how swiftly the support around her vanished. It wasn't gradual, it was precise, strategic, calculated. It began with silence from Disney, then the absence of invitations. Then no media coverage, no stylist partnerships, no red carpet appearances. Even those who once rooted for her have gone radio silent. In an industry built on alliances and reputation, that silence says everything. But this isn't just a Hollywood story. It's a lesson about public perception, the fragility of fame, and the power of humility. Rachel's fall is not just about her actions. It's about how she responded when criticism arrived. Instead of reflection, there was resistance. Instead of empathy, there was detachment. Instead of connection, there was condescension. And while talent can carry you far, it's character that determines whether you stay. And yet, for all this chaos, all this backlash, all this unraveling, there's still a sliver of a chance. Redemption in Hollywood is rare, but not impossible. We've seen it happen. Actors once written off have returned, stronger, wiser, more grounded. The key: owning the narrative, accepting responsibility, and doing the difficult work of repairing the broken trust between the star and the audience. But here's the hard truth: that window is closing. Quickly, every day that passes without genuine outreach, without an unscripted moment of self-awareness, makes the road back longer and steeper. Every recycled statement, every overly polished Instagram post, every carefully managed appearance reads like damage control, not growth. The public, contrary to what some might believe, is often forgiving, but only when the apology feels real, only when there's vulnerability, only when the walls come down. Right now, Rachel isn't giving them anything to believe in. No reason to wait, no signs of change, just a carefully staged silence, and an industry that seems increasingly eager to move on. It's also worth asking, why did the backlash hit her so hard in the first place? Why did her interviews go viral for the wrong reasons? Why did her critiques of a decades-old fairytale ignite such fury? The answer is complicated. Part of it is timing, part of it is how she delivered her message. But a big part of it, maybe the most important part, is tone. How something is said often matters more than what is said. Rachel's tone came off as dismissive, detached, arrogant. At a time when audiences crave authenticity, she gave them intellectual distance. At a time when they wanted warmth, she gave them critique. At a time when they wanted inspiration, she gave them theory. The gap between her intentions and how they landed was enormous, and she never seemed to bridge that divide. This disconnect was only made worse by her online presence. Social media should be a place where fans get to know the real person behind the screen, but instead of openness, Rachel's feed became increasingly silent. Gone were the spontaneous updates, the behind the scenes glimpses, the personal anecdotes. In their place, highly filtered posts, careful captions, and a noticeable void. Her silence didn't feel empowering, it felt like she was retreating. And in Hollywood, retreating is often mistaken for defeat. It's not just her career that's at stake, it's her legacy. Rachel Zegler burst onto the scene with undeniable talent, a Broadway quality voice, and a presence that turned heads. She had the kind of launch most actors only dream of, but sustaining that momentum requires more than performance. It requires self-awareness, adaptability, humility, and a deep understanding of how to communicate with the very audience that gave her a platform. Where does she go from here? That depends entirely on what she does next. The first step, stop pretending everything is fine. It's not. The silence isn't protecting her, it's hurting her. Audiences don't want perfection. They want honesty. They want to see someone fall, stumble, get up, and try again. If Rachel can offer them that, if she can be vulnerable without being strategic, if she can connect without calculation, she might just begin to earn back the goodwill she's lost. The second step, surround herself with people who tell her the truth, not what she wants to hear, but what she needs to hear. Every successful comeback begins with honest reflection. Right now, it sounds like her team is either shielding her or checked out. Neither of those approaches will lead to growth. She needs mentors, advisors, and friends who can help her navigate this storm, not ignore it. And finally, she needs to remember why she started, the love for performance. The passion for storytelling, the thrill of connecting with an audience. Somewhere along the way, that spark got buried beneath controversy, criticism, and calculated responses, but it's still there if she's willing to find it again. Hollywood may have turned its back for now, but the curtain isn't closed forever. The industry moves fast. New stories are written every day. If Rachel wants a place in that story, she has to earn it, not with PR strategies, but with purpose. She has to speak, not as a brand, but as a person. She has to listen, not just to her team, but to the audience. And most importantly, she has to grow, not just in skill, but in spirit. Because if there's one thing Hollywood loves more than a rising star, it's a comeback. And if Rachel Zegler can learn from this chapter, if she can find strength in her missteps and rise with sincerity, she might not just return. She might come back better than ever, but the clock is ticking. And Hollywood doesn't wait, not for anyone, not even for someone who once seemed unstoppable. So, Rachel, if you're listening, the stage is still there, but this time you have to earn your spotlight. Not with applause, but with authenticity.